Welcome in, everybody, to the Booty Scoot Racing channel. This is the Madness Racing League Total Non-Stop Action Truck Series, the Walt Tools 100 live. And right here in the streets of Chicago, and the Chicago street courts put together by the great NASCAR. We appreciate it. We got the guys rolling in on the field here live on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. We're moments away, guys, from the starting lineups here. These guys have put down laps. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you slap that like button, press that follow button so you don't miss a thing here live on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. Waiting for the rest of the field to fill their way in here in the streets of Chicago. Ladies and gentlemen, we're set for 30 laps of straight action-packed racing of the Madness Racing League Total Non-Stop Action Truck Series, the Walt Tools 100. This is race number 4. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you stick around later on tonight for back-to-back action here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel live for the cutoff race, actually, the playoffs at the Phoenix for the Xfinity Series here in the Madness Racing League. First of all, we'll knock off 30 laps here in the streets of Chicago, ladies and gentlemen. I believe everybody's loaded in, and we'll wait till everybody gets moving here. Get some nice, beautiful action shots of those race cars. Make sure you slap that like button, press that follow button so you don't miss a thing right here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. Welcome back, everybody, to the Booty Scoot Racing channel. This is the Madness Racing League Total Non-Stop Action Truck Series. Get tonight's starting grid started off here, starting on the pole, setting the fastest lap here through the streets. Belongs to the number 2 Miller Genuine Draft Chevy Silverado from Catega. That's Carter Jackson. Starting in the second place spot beside him, driving the number 24 of Abilene Chevy Silverado from Greenville, South Carolina, the road course master. That's James Fountain. Kevin Tanko slap up the third place spot here in the streets of Chicago, driving the number 4 Budweiser Chevy Silverado from Hawthorne, New Jersey. Him and James Fountain, the 2 playoff drivers locked in here, both have wins on the year. Bobby Kyle, the 64-year-old from Honorsville, Georgia, will bring the 4th place spot here to start tonight's event. Nick Crawford, finally a top 5 starting spot for him. See what the large car Nick Crawford from Buckhannon, West Virginia will do here in his Queso Wendy's number 48 machine. Starting in the 6th place spot will be the number 5 Jordan Chevy Silverado from Greer, South Carolina. That's Chase Showtime Johnson. Terry Hughes Jr. driving the number 81 BHR from Troy, Alabama, 25-year-old. We're gonna make something shake here. That Red Bull Ford F-150 looks bad fast here. He's got to snap the bad luck first, though. We'll see how he shakes out here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. Jonathan Smith driving the number 44 Nap Daddy Racing machine. Bring home the 8th place spot right here to start tonight's event. Gonna make something shake from Goldsboro, North Carolina. You see him right there. That's the beautiful race car. Make sure you get at him at napdaddyracing.com. You see it on the back of the truck. For all your paint schemes and needs, Paint Hoss, number 29 machine, the Toyota TRD Tundra, being driven by Blake Hochschild from Gold Canyon, Arizona, looking to make something shake here in the streets. Starting inside of him with the chrome number tonight here in the streets, driving the white and orange Penske Ford F-150 from Wilford, South Carolina. That's the kid, Nicholas Maynard. Rounding out shotgun tail into the field tonight will be Corey Riptide Tesman, the winner at the Auto Club Speedway, race number 2 on the season. Chris Knighty will start from the pits here. He'll change a rear end before the start of the night's event, but meanwhile, Carter Jackson will lead him around. The rest of the road course here will be ready, get set for action-packed racing here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. Remember, we're going back-to-back tonight on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. The Phoenix Raceway Xfinity Series is coming your way right after this, but meanwhile, we'll knock off 30 quick ones here in the streets of Chicago. The green flag's in the air. Carter Jackson will lead them to the green flag here in the streets of Chicago. They'll turn down into turn 1. They'll make a left here and head towards turn 2, where they'll make another right hand turn on the Lakeshore Drive, and they'll be ripping through the gears here. Meanwhile, everybody looks like they'll get clear through turns 1 and 2 there. The number 70 777 of Bobby Kyle gets jacked up by the number 5 at Showtime Chase Johnson to fly down Lakeshore Drive through turns 3 and 4. Points are going to pay out to the top 5 finishers, 50, 40, 30, 20, and 10. Win the event, you lock yourself into the playoffs here in the Madness Racing League Total Non-Stop Action Truck Series. And the DeWalt Tools 100. Travo Wall from Pelzer, South Carolina, driving the number 7 machine. Trying to make something shake. Meanwhile, James Fountain, that second place spot up there, trying to run down Carter Jackson. You see Chris Knighty coming off the pit road right there. He'll catch shotgun tail into the field. He'll have to put them together, catch up the field. Meanwhile, the battle for the race lead is underway here. So we're coming to 1 lap complete here. I'll change the ticker back over to the green flag, excuse me here. But meanwhile, Carter Jackson comes around the fountain through turns 8, 9, and 10. A 12-turn road course here. He's sideways off the corner. Carter Jackson putting on a show here for the Blue School Racing fan. Meanwhile, the rest of these guys are going to pack out through the rest of McDonald's area zone. James Fountain closing up the area here. Travo Wall will look to the left inside quarter panel. But Jonathan Smith will make the pass down into the turn 11 zone to make a right-hander. They'll go up East Jackson Drive. And the turn 12, Travis Wall will smack the wall there. There'll be a parking lot right there. Everybody looks like they'll manage it clean here. They'll fly over the hill through turns 11 and 12 to make a right-hander off of East Jackson Drive, and they'll head down the front stretch to complete lap 1 for these guys. Meanwhile, the race leader, Carter Jackson and James Fountain, battling it out here. Bobby Kyle will go hard into the wall. We'll back that ass up here, as we always do on the Booty Scoot Racing channel for an instant replay. Bobby Kyle smokes it into the tire barrier. He'll miss it here. Let's take a look and see exactly what happened here. Bobby Kyle comes flying in. He gets loose. The 777 of Bobby Kyle, not able to lock it down. They'll smack the wall hard. Try to get that thing turned around. Meanwhile, Terry Hughes Jr. and the rest of these guys will be able to circle back through. They'll get through it. The battle for the race lead is on our way here between Carter Jackson and James Fountain. Bobby Kyle get the thing turned around here. Nicholas Maynard look to the inside of Jonathan Smith here. We're racing in the streets of Chicago. Lap 3 is in the books, almost complete for these guys on the DeWalt Tools 100. Jonathan Smith, Terry Hughes, the rest of these guys will continue to battle it out here. We're going back to the main cam with just some action-packed shots right now here in the streets of Chicago. Nicholas Maynard driving the number 02 machine, trying to make something shake here. James Fountain and Carter Jackson battling for the race lead here. Carter Jackson will throw the lead over James Fountain. He'll spread his gap up as he comes around and complete lap 3 here. Turns 10 and 11. He'll turn to the right on the East Jackson Drive over the bridge here in the turn 12. He'll make a right-hander, go down the front stretch, complete the lap here. Nobody catching Carter Jackson at the moment. Madness Racing League Total Non-Stop Action Truck Series race number 4 on the season. 2 races remain after this. To lock yourself into the playoffs, the 02 Nicholas Maynard will battle door-to-door. Jonathan Smith will power past him here. Flying through turns 10 down into turns 11 to make the right-hand turn on the East Roosevelt Drive. East Jackson Drive, excuse me. They'll jump over the hill here. Everybody putting on some laps here. The only unfortunate contender has been Bobby Kyle. The 777. He goes around and smoked the wall there. He's on pit road as we currently speak here. Nicholas Maynard's going to lead his group here across the line. Meanwhile, the battle for the race lead is under our way here. Carter Jackson, the race leader here, going to pull away from James Fountain by a great bit here. 3 laps are in the book here at the DeWalt Tools 100. We'll take our first break here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. Action-packed racing all over the racetrack here. Don't go nowhere. battling a technical difficulty here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. We'll get it fixed out here. We're back and better than ever. You see the number 5 of Showtime, Chase Johnson, and Nick Crawford absolutely putting on a show for you Booty Scoot Racing fans. Nick Crawford must have been hollering and screaming here recently. Is that number 48 Queso's machine has got some speed in it as he comes in the streets of Chicago, is ready, packed out tonight here. We're back here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. Better than ever, though. Kevin Tankos will get up to the second place spot. James Fountain will redeem the lead here. So stand up, the Madness Racing League Road Ranger James Fountain will redeem the lead here. It's Carter Jackson. It will get loose. You'll see Kevin Tankos slide left. We'll have to get it back underneath them here as they'll go around turn 8, 9, and 10. They'll head towards turn 11 around the Fountain. They'll make that right-hand turn on the East Jackson Drive. Meanwhile, James Fountain has already got around the Fountain. He'll go around turns 11. He'll head over the bridge down East Jackson Drive. He'll make the right-hander off turn 12 down the front stretch here. We'll be at 25 laps remaining here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. Nick Crawford will go around. Meanwhile, Terry Hughes Jr. has done broke the streak of bad luck so far. He's picking off some laps here. The U.S. Navy veteran driving the number 81 Red Bull machine, trying to get it shaking here. Meanwhile, Nick Crawford will get that thing spun back around, just talking about him. Hating to jinx him here. And meanwhile, Carter Jackson done led most of the race here tonight. Got guys on pit road. Chris Knighty along with Bobby Kyle. Bobby Kyle we've seen go around earlier, getting some damage fixed on that race car along with Chris Knighty here. Carter Jackson will go back to him. Led most of the event so far here tonight. He's trying to run down the number 4 of Kevin Tankos here. The Madness Racing League putting on an absolute show here in the streets of Chicago on the TikTok platform. Make sure you smack that like button, press that follow button so you don't miss a thing. Back-to-back streams here tonight. Kevin Tankos. Tokyo drift style around here in the streets of Chicago. That'll look great for Carter Jackson here as he's looking to shake back for the second place spot here. And he'll make the pass over the number 4 of Kevin Tankos. Carter Jackson trying to put on a show here, running back down the race leader, James Fountain. As you see the gap right there comes Carter Jackson, James Fountain. Trying to run away from these folks here. He'll make the right-hander on the 8, 9, and 10. He'll go around the Fountain. And when he gets to turn 11, he'll make that right-hander on the East Jackson, running for his life in the streets of Chicago. Meanwhile, Kevin Tankos has got to dial that race car back here. He's slipping and sliding in the streets of Chicago. We'll throw back here to some of the other guys here. Oh, somebody's going to lock it up. It's going to be the number 44, Jonathan Smith. A perfect time to switch over here. He's going to be door-to-door, and Nicholas Maynard here into the corner. Will he give it to him? It looks like he will. Nicholas Maynard is trying to pick off some laps as well here. Knock off some here. Ladies and gentlemen, we're live here in the streets of Chicago and Chicago, Illinois. That's the number 4 of Kevin Tankos from Hawthorne, New Jersey. Already racing in the playoffs. He's locked himself in with the season opener at Daytona. Carter Jackson, though, right there driving the number 2 Miller Lite machine. Been bad fast all race long so far. He might have to truck the beat, but he's got to get back to James Fountain here. We know James Fountain, the road course ringer, knows his way around the left and right-hand turn. His apex in his way. He'll get every bit of the corner there through the McDonald's zone. James Fountain leads them here in the streets of Chicago. Kevin Tankos falling off about a second and about 1.3 seconds behind the number 2 now of Carter Jackson. Meanwhile, the 44 of Jonathan Smith we've seen go around, trying to run back down the 02 of Nicholas Maynard. We'll flip it back over here to Corey Riptide Tesner as he'll come flying across the line here. Corey Tesner won 2 weeks ago. Well, 2 races ago, excuse me now. Getting mixed up and confused. He'll win at the Auto Club Speedway. So he's locked into the playoffs. He's looking to knock off some laps here. 2 weeks ago at the Rockingham Speedway, though, we see Nicholas Maynard, that guy right there, driving the number 02, coming across the front stretch here underneath Freddie the Flagman. He'll lead 94 of the 100 laps at Rockingham Speedway, but just won't come away with the victory here. Meanwhile, James Fountain comes around here looking to lap somebody at the Chicago street course, trying to go back-to-back here as he stole the victory 2 weeks ago at the Rockingham Speedway. But he's going to have a battle on his head with Carter Jackson coming right behind him here because they'll make that left-hand turn on the Lakeshore Drive in turn 1 and 2. James Fountain starting to lose a little bit here as he'll make the right-hander on the Lakeshore Drive. He'll fly down turns 3 and 4 here. Make that hard right-hand turn on the Columbus Drive in turn 5 and 6. And Carter Jackson make something shake here in the streets of Chicago. Get himself a passing opportunity. Meanwhile, Nicholas Maynard pulling away from Jonathan Smith here. Chase Johnson racing all by himself here. Carter Jackson trying to run down the race leader here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. 22 laps remain. Chase Johnson saves that race car. Seen Chase Johnson win on the Madness Racing League Xfinity Series 2 weeks ago at the Martinsville Speedway. Again, we'll be back-to-back tonight on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. The Xfinity Series final cut race for the playoffs. We'll figure out who's racing in that championship race 2 weeks from now in the Xfinity Series. Tonight, right after here's this. But first, the TNA Truck Series, the Walk Tools 100, has to come to the conclusion. We got to crown ourselves a winner here in the streets of Chicago. It's Bobby Kyle back out on the racetrack, the 64-year-old. We've seen him get into the wall to start the race. Currently registered 6 laps down in the final shotgun spot. But the Honorsville, Georgia guy out here trying to knock off some laps, see if he can make something shake here. Meanwhile, Blake Hochschild on pit road, trying to get some of that damage fixed. Terry Hughes Jr. picking his way up to the 5th place spot here. The number 81 Red Bull Ford F-150, excuse me, will make that right-hander headed towards the fountain, towards turn 8. Out of turn 7 with Bobby Kyle all over the ass end of him here. Bobby Kyle probably on a better set of tires here if I had to take my better guess. Bobby Kyle looked to the inside of the number 81 Red Bull machine of Terry Hughes Jr. Terry Hughes Jr. trying to break the streak of bad luck here. Break the streak in the streets. What a tongue twister. Could you believe it? Nick Crawford here. We've seen him have a fast race car all night long. He's up to the 6th place spot once more after spinning out. Kevin Tankos will blink in and blink out here, trying to make sure he can get something. But meanwhile, Carter Jackson still trying to run down the race leader, James Fountain here. James Fountain approaching lap traffic here in the streets of Chicago. Will these guys be a factor for the number 24, James Fountain? Somebody will lock him up going into turn 1 here. Kevin Tankos, Bobby Kyle, and Terry Hughes Jr. have all come together. Kevin Tankos trying to make something shake here. He's falling off to the 5th place spot from that 3rd place spot. Meanwhile, Showtime Chase Johnson racing all by himself. He'll squabble out to the 3rd place spot here. Terry Hughes Jr. leading his pack down. Columbus Drive on the East Roosevelt. They'll make the right-hander onto Columbus Drive. Another right-hander's banged out, headed towards the fountain. They got to go now. Kevin Tankos will look to the left side of the number 81 of Terry Hughes Jr. He's not able to get it. Meanwhile, James Fountain was approaching lap traffic of the number 02 of Nicholas Maynard in front of him. When Nicholas Maynard spared James Fountain the corner here as they approach out of turn 1 here. 20 laps remain. James Fountain will put the bumper to Nicholas Maynard. Get out of the way here, kid, but that'll close the gap up between Carter Jackson and James Fountain here. So we'll have a battle for the race lead here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel with 20 laps remaining. Kevin Tankos, Chris Snidey battling each other out here in the streets of Chicago. But there's the battle for the race lead. James Fountain under attack here. Peeking over here at the comments section on the TikTok. How do I join this? I believe the Madness Racing League is pinned in the chat. Make sure you get out the Madness Racing League. They'll get you in here. Free to join, free to race. Only in the Truck Series. Because they'll close it off next week for the final race. We got 2 more races remaining here in the Truck Series. So I'm about to talk to the admin, see how that works out for you. I'm just the broadcaster. But we got a battle for the race lead. Carter Jackson will get around James Fountain. And James Fountain battles some loose conditions there. Meanwhile, James Fountain trying to run down Carter Jackson, get that race lead back with 20 laps remaining. Nicholas Maynard will go a lap down here in the streets of Chicago. So the battle for the race lead is not going to look like it's going to be a big factor here as Carter Jackson started the lead majority of the race here tonight. James Fountain gets him around. James Fountain 5 laps led in the book so far. Can he get back to Carter Jackson, get it under control here? We know these guys got to pit soon. The admin said it could run about anywhere from 20 to 23 laps on gas. But the battle for the race lead here is on our way in the streets of Chicago. We'll take another commercial break here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. We'll be back with pit stops right after this. Bam! Back here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel, Carter Jackson has redeemed the lead over James Fountain here in the streets of Chicago. And he'll get around the number 7 of Travis Wall. Travis Wall will go a lap down. He'll put another guy a lap down. Or at least a lap car between him and James Fountain here as the battle for the race lead is shaking up here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel with 18 laps remaining. 30 laps scheduled. We got 18 remaining. You can do the math. I'm not very good at it. James Fountain will get around the lap car, number 7, Travis Wall, but he'll run right into another one. As Nick Large Car Crawford has actually had a decent day today. As I say that, he'll park it into the tire barrier. Really got to stop talking about Nick Crawford at the worst inconvenient time. I feel like I've cost him twice there. He'll park it back there in the back end. You see, he'll get it going again. But meanwhile, James Fountain trying to run down the race leader with Carter Jackson here. Redeem the race lead here as these guys are battling it out for a trophy here in the Madness Racing League. James Fountain locked in. He snips the victory over Nicholas Maynard 2 weeks ago at the Rockingham Speedway with Blake Hochschild. Holy cow, will 360 go around? How is that thing still running? We'll back that ass up here. You cannot run from us, Blake Hochschild. What in the absolute you-know-what just happened? We'll back it up for an action-packed replay. Blake Hochschild absolutely fries it into the corner here. We'll take a look here. So he just gets loose. You see Nicholas Maynard going by. Blake Hochschild will slam it here. He'll slide through the living room of you guys watching here on the TikTok. Blake Hochschild again right away almost with no scratches. James Fountain still running by himself, but meanwhile, can he run down the race leader Carter Jackson? Chase Johnson flying down East Roosevelt. He'll make the right-hander onto Columbus Drive. Showtime Chase Johnson trying to get a win here in the Total Nonstop Action Truck Series. It's the only league he's yet to score victory in it. Won that Monday night on the Bristol Motor Speedway. Locked himself into the championship race in the Madness Racing League Cup Series. Carter Jackson winless so far in the Madness Racing League. Can he change that here tonight as he comes down the front stretch here? James Fountain to get loose. What a save by the number 24 from Greenville, South Carolina. Carter Jackson, again, winless here in the Madness Racing League. Trying to score his first victory ever here. If he can just keep it together for 17 more laps, picking them off here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. Meanwhile, Nick Crawford battling some handling conditions here. We talked about him trying to make something shake here in that race car. He's finally got some speed in it here tonight in the streets of Chicago. Putting on an absolute show here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel for you folks here. Carter Jackson will bang a right-hander. Putting on an absolute clinic here, just trying to keep himself composed. If he can do that, he might have a shot here. But meanwhile, James Fountain losing his distance here around everybody. Tons of guys a lap down here. Nicholas Maynard a lap down. Travis Wall going to be a lap down and right in front of him. Travis Wall. Go right back to him though. Kept it together here. We usually see him airborne. We've seen him twice so far. Flipped in the truck series out of 4 races. You wouldn't believe it. Travis Wall though, comedian here in the Madness Racing League. Just trying to put on an absolute show here. He's right around. He's got Nicholas Maynard right behind him. We're out on board with the kid here. Kind of see what he's battling. The Welford, South Carolina 22-year-old goes around turns 8, 9, and 10 through the fountain. He'll make that right-hander on the East Jackson Drive in turn 11. He'll slow back down. Trying to run down Travis Wall here. They'll go into turn 12 over the bridge. Nicholas Maynard trying to run down the number 7 of Travis Wall. They'll make the right-hander off East Jackson Drive. Off turn 12, come across the front stretch here with 16 laps remaining here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel's Madness Racing League Total Nonstop Action. Meanwhile, James Fountain on pit road this time around from the 2nd place spot. Trying to make something shake here. They'll jack up the left side of the car for James Fountain. It'll be left side tires. Will they jump over to the right side of the car? It'll be 4 fresh Goodyear tires for James Fountain here on the pit road. Meanwhile, here comes Kevin Tankos from Hawthorne, New Jersey, flying over the hill here. In turn 11, he'll make the right-hander off turn 12 into the front stretch here. And the streets of Chicago, pit stops are on our way here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. Let me change it back to the main broadcast for you guys. We apologize here. Travis Wall moves up to the 6th place spot here with Nicholas Maynard. We just see them battling back and forth here. Nicholas Maynard just can't seem to find his way around the number 7 of Travis Wall. Here comes the number 48 of Nick Crawford down into the corner as well. These guys putting on a show here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. Laps peeling off quickly here. We approach the halfway point. Meanwhile, Terry Hughes Jr. is going to be under attack here. Corey Riptide Tesner, these two might have to throw a battle box up on these two as they'll battle it back and forth. We know Corey Riptide Tesner, though, currently on the lead lap, racing in the 5th place spot, just wants to go around that Black Rifle Coffee, number 8, Chase Johnson racing Chevy Silverado did. Flying around the road course here in the streets of Chicago. Corey Riptide Tesner trying to make something shake here. Meanwhile, Blake Hochschild, we see him do an absolute 360 here, brought out the instant replay. He's back out on the racetrack. Still got some left front damage here. Meanwhile, Carter Jackson, the race leader on pit road this time around. So we've seen James Fountain go the lap before. Carter Jackson will jump one more lap right after him. Carter Jackson, the first pit box here, so he won't have to worry about speeding on pit road as he'll go immediately here. Meanwhile, Nicholas Maynard getting loose there, trying to run down Travis Wall still. Travis Wall, just like Nick Crawford, two guys you really don't see around here much. They've been putting on an absolute show. Here comes Nick Crawford. Speaking of him, knocking on the back door of the other Nick, we'll have the two Nicks battle it out here possibly for that 6th place spot, though. Travis Wall loving what he's seeing in his mirror. It'll be a Ford Chevy battling it out here in the streets of Chicago with 15 laps remaining in the DeWalt Tools 100. Pit stops are on our way here. Corey Riptide Tesner on pit road this time around. He'll go get his stop done. Terry Hughes Jr. will jump on the outside of him, complete the lap here. 15 laps remaining in the 9th event. Kevin Tango's up to the 4th place spot. We've seen him spin out earlier. Showtime Chase Johnson's kept it clean so far. That all red Jordan machine is handling well, I'd say, but James Fountain goes in before Carter Jackson. But Carter Jackson looks like he was able to shake out a pit road right before James Fountain. What a stop by the number 2 Miller Genuine Draft Chevy Silverado boys from Catega. Them guys put on 4 tires, get the race leader right back out front. Carter Jackson setting sail here in the streets of Chicago. We're right on board with the leader here. He approaches more lap traffic. That's the 48 of Nick Crawford. That's the 2 Nicks, actually, of Nick Crawford and Nicholas Maynard. Carter Jackson downshifted in the 2nd gear. He'll make the left-hander in the turn 1 here on the heading towards the turn 2 on the Lakeshore Drive. He'll have 2 lap cars in front of him. The race leader here is going to have to pick and choose. Will they let him go? Looks like it'll be much hassle for the rest of these guys. Nicholas Maynard will pull over to the right side. Let the race leader, Carter Jackson, go on by. Carter Jackson putting these guys a lap down, putting on a show here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel here in the streets of Chicago for the DeWalt Tools 100 live on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. Meanwhile, James Fountain in that 2nd place spot. He's just now turning down on the Lakeshore Drive. He'll make that left-hander right down there. Columbus Drive, excuse me. He'll make that left-hander in turn 6. The number 24 machine's trying to do his best to run down the race leader here. Meanwhile, Kevin Tango's back up to the 3rd place spot. Showtime Chase Johnson bringing it down here, trying to make something shake here. He'll get around the number 29 of Blake Hochschild, Corey Tesner. Slinging it through the fountain here, Nicholas Maynard. It's got Nick Crawford all over his back bumper. The battle between the Nicks is on our way here in the streets of Chicago. A lot on board with Nick Crawford from Buchanan, West Virginia. Large car, Nick Crawford. The only case, though, Chevrolet is bad fast here in the streets of Chicago. He tries to run down the number 02 of Nicholas Maynard. He'll pull it right to the back bumper. He'll go around. Nick Crawford riding on board with him. Downshifts, goes around. Slides right through your living room. That's the 2nd place guy. James Fountain. What has happened to James Fountain? That car looks messed up. No, the 2nd place guy, James Fountain, off the racetrack here. Wow, the 2nd place guy. James Fountain must have smashed his race car at some point as we was too busy riding along with Nick Crawford, who does the same thing. Meanwhile, that's going to put a tremendous gap between Carter Jackson and now the registered 2nd place guy of Hawthorne, New Jersey. It's Kevin Tango's. Kevin Tangles to make the right-hander on the Lakeshore Drive off turn 2. Meanwhile, Carter Jackson is setting sail, making the left-hander onto Columbus Drive in turn 6. So you see the gap right there. Carter Jackson making his way to turn 7. He'll make the right-hander go towards turn 8. He'll head around the fountain here in the streets of Chicago. We've approached 13 laps remaining here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. Carter Jackson put belt to ass all race long here, ladies and gentlemen, leading him here in the streets of Chicago. We'll be right back here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel with the conclusion of tonight's event. Don't go nowhere. Bang! Welcome back to the Booty Scoot Racing channel. That's the race leader, Carter Jackson from Gattega, or you can call him CJ. We'll call him Bad Fast because that's what he's been all night long. The number 2 Miller Genuine Draft Mobile 1 Chevy Silverado has been Bad Fast since the drop of the flag. Pole center here. Gave up the lead a little bit to James Fountain, but meanwhile that was Corey Tesner absolutely ripping back there. That's that dirt experience in there intact for him and Nick Crawford. We'll lock him up here. We'll back that ass up real quick for a Booty Scoot Racing replay. Holy cow, Nick Crawford has absolutely beat that race car to hell tonight. It's still moving though. Let's take a look here. He flies through the McDonald's zone, gets loose, locks it up here. Doesn't look like it's going to be too much damage though for large car Nick Crawford here. We'll shoot back up here to Kevin Tankos, who's currently registered in the 2nd place spot, trying to run down the race leader of Carter Jackson. James Fountain out of the race car here tonight's event. He's the only one that's really had something for Carter Jackson all night long in tonight's event. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you slap that like button, press that follow button so you don't miss a thing here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. Make sure you know we're going back to back tonight on the Booty Scoot Racing channel stream-wise. You can catch the Madness Racing League Xfinity Series playoff race, or the cutoff race for the playoffs, I should say, right after this on the Booty Scoot Racing channel from the Phoenix International Raceway. Who will join Alfonso Claudio in the Xfinity Series Championship race in Michigan in 2 weeks from now? Will it be that guy right there, the number 02 of Nicholas Maynard? He has a shot right after this in the Xfinity Series. Corey Tesner falls short of making the playoffs in the Xfinity Series, but his win 2 weeks ago, well, about a month ago now, actually, in the Auto Club Speedway in the Truck Series, has locked him into the playoffs, so that's why he's just running so good tonight. Meanwhile, his Showtime Chase Johnson, his Chase Johnson Racing teammate, right there, driving the number 5 Jordan Machine. It's got him and his Chase Johnson Racing teammate of Corey Tesner up in the top 5, currently running the 3 and 4 spot right now. Nicholas Maynard around out that top 5 spot with Kevin Tanko's running second. Carter Jackson running in the race lead here as he's been all night long. Meanwhile, Corey Tesner trying to run away from Blake Hochschild here with 10 laps remaining. Nicholas Maynard currently running by himself, but got Bobby Kyle all over the ass end of him. Bobby Kyle from Huntersville, Georgia, driving the 777. The Toyota TRD Tundra has been bad fast for him ever since he's got it repaired back out on the racetrack, trying to run down the kid of Nicholas Maynard. And meanwhile, Kevin Tanko's back there, loose as a goose on the Booty Scoot Racing channel, trying to make something shake here. He's currently running in the second place spot, just trying to get it to the end here. Meanwhile, Corey Tesner goes around at the fountain. Let's back that ass up for an instant replay as we're already on it because I forgot to change it once again. Meanwhile, holy snap, Corey Tesner smokes it here. We'll take a look here. Flies around through the fountain. You see him, might look like he overcorrects it head on into the wall here. But he'll stay out of trouble though. See if he gets out of the way of the number 29 of Blake Hochschild. He doesn't. Corey Tesner possibly just destroyed that race car of his. No good on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. We'll jump back up here to the race leader, Kevin Tanko's. The race leader, Carter Jackson, still totally dominating here at the Chicago Street Course. He'll approach 9 laps remaining here. You see James Fountain's blue machine parked on pit road there. It's been his only competition tonight for Carter Jackson, but without James Fountain in the race, the next closest guy is 34 seconds back, and that's Kevin Tanko's. Meanwhile, Bobby Kyle, Nicholas Maynard, it looks like going to be Corey Riptide Tesner we just seen spit out for the instant replay. And that Black Rifle Coffee number 8 machine will be the 3 cars going to be battling each other out here. But Nicholas Maynard up to the 4th place spot over Corey Tesner. So these two are going to be battling for position. Meanwhile, Nick Crawford has just smoked that thing into the tire barrier, trying to get it to go around here. He better run for his life. As meanwhile, Nicholas Maynard pulled away from the rest of these guys. Kevin Tanko's, that's the 2nd place spot. Catching up to the 4th place spot here. So guys spread all out the field here at the Chicago Street Course. Corey Riptide Tesner has no left front of that race car. Trying to make his own doing here. Terry Hughes Jr. has snapped the streak here so far, but he's getting ready to go a lap down to the race leader of Carter Jackson. And Carter Jackson will look to the inside. He'll make the pass around the number 81 of Terry Hughes Jr. But Terry Hughes Jr. haven't had the best day so far. He's drove it back up to the 8th place spot. Got a little bit of damage on that race car, but meanwhile, Carter Jackson taking off turn 12 off East Jackson Drive. He'll bring it across the front stretch here, bring it to 8 laps remaining. We'll take it down there, Blake Hochschild. Get out of the way from the rest of these guys. He's got damage on that race car. The number 29 Toyota TRD Tundra from Gold Canyon, Arizona. Just trying to get to the finish here. Kevin Tanko's in that 2nd place spot. Throwing it around the racetrack here, trying to run down the race leader, but he's got about a minute gap that he's got to fill here between him and the race leader, Carter Jackson, right there, the number 2 Miller Light Draft Machine. He'll get around Terry Hughes Jr. and just set sail here. 8 laps remaining. Carter Jackson been all business here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, he'll make the right-hander off turn 5 down to Columbus Drive, heading towards turn 6. Carter Jackson putting on an absolute show here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel, looking for his first win ever in the Madness Racing League. Definitely will lock himself into the Total Nonstop Action Truck Series playoffs if he can score the victory here tonight. Don't want to jinx him, as every time we've talked about somebody. Meanwhile, the kid Nicholas Maynard on pit road getting a 4 fresh set of Goodyear tires. Looks like it's going to be for him. Bobby Kyle trying to shake something out here. He's 6 laps down. Nicholas Maynard coming off pit road this time around. Showtime Chase Johnson, the rest of these guys. Be the guys he's racing. Nicholas Maynard a lap down here. Showtime Chase Johnson still on the lead lap here in the 3rd place spot. Kevin Tanko's in the 2nd place spot. Carter Jackson, the race leader. That's the only 3 guys registered on the lead lap at the current moment. Corey Riptide Tesner in the 4th place spot, a lap down as well. Travis Wall up to the 5th place spot at the current moment, but there's Nicholas Maynard, who just come off pit road on 4 fresh tires. So Travis Wall and Nicholas Maynard are going to be battling back and forth here for that 5th place points paying spot here with 7 laps remaining. That'd be a battle to keep an eye on here. Meanwhile, Kevin Tanko's is heading it down into turns 8, 9, and 10 now through the fountain. Chase Johnson heading that way. Can Chase Johnson close the gap up, try to score some more points for the second place spot? And I don't believe anybody's going to have a chance to run down the race leader, Carter Jackson, unless he makes a mistake here. We'll ride on board one more time with Carter Jackson from Gatega as he heads down Columbus Drive into turn 6 here. Down in the third gear, down in the second gear, down the first gear. He'll make the left-hander off Columbus Drive. Head over the bridge through turn 6, down into turn 7 here. He'll make the right-hander. Headed toward turn 8, 9, 10 through the fountain here. Carter Jackson just putting on an absolute clinic here in the streets of Chicago here. Ladies and gentlemen, 7 laps remain here in the Madness Racing League Total Non-Stop Action Truck Series, the Walt Tools 100. We'll take one more final commercial break as Nicholas Maynard and Travis Wall. Travis Wall hits the wall. Looks like Nicholas Maynard spun out of the way to try to miss him, and he'll do so. Travis Wall will refire that race. Yes, he'll refire that race car, get it going. Nicholas Maynard, no damage on that race car, does it appear. Travis Wall bringing it around right here in front of Nicholas Maynard. I was just getting ready to send it to our final commercial break. You guys get some action pack racing right in front of your face, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back with the conclusion of tonight's event. Nicholas Maynard, Travis Wall goes around. Carter Jackson leads them here in the streets of Chicago. Back here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. The conclusion of tonight's event with 5 laps remaining. That's the number 5 of Showtime Chase Johnson from Greer, South Carolina. The Madness Racing League's Kyle Larson putting on a show here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. He's drove that thing up to the 3rd place spot, currently trying to run down Kevin Tankos up in that 2nd place spot, as you see Chase Johnson right there. Come around the same corner as well with Nick Crawford here. Can he run down Kevin Tanko's? Got a couple battles here. Meanwhile, Nicholas Maynard, we seen pit about 3 laps ago on fresh tire. He's trying to run down that kid right there, the number 8 of Corey Riptide Tesner. Seeing these two make a little contact at the Rockingham Speedway 2 weeks ago. Could we see Corey Tesner repay a favor to Nicholas Maynard if he gets there to defend himself? Meanwhile, Chase Johnson slowly closing up the gap for the 2nd place spot. Carter Jackson, the race leader, been dominating all day long. We'll take it to 4 laps remaining here as he'll dive down into turns 1 and make the left-hand turn. Carter Jackson has been absolutely beautiful all day long. He'll take it into turn 2. He'll head down Lake Shore Drive here in the beautiful streets of Chicago. Rippity-gippity here. Ladies and gentlemen, Carter Jackson looking to win his first ever Madness Racing League event here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. He can get it done. Meanwhile, Corey Tesner, Kevin Tankos, that's the 2nd in the 4th place spot. Corey Tesner lap down and move out of the way for the 2nd place guy of Kevin Tankos. Corey Tesner being respectful here on the Booty Scoot Racing You love to see it here. Tesner will get it loose here. But meanwhile, Kevin Tanko's, it's going to cost him a little bit of time between him and Showtime Chase Johnson. Johnson trying to run down the second place spot, excuse me. Corey Tesner, his teammate right there, currently wrestling in the 4th place spot. 1 lap down, but Nicholas Maynard's coming through as well on 4 fresh tires. Trying to run down Corey Riptide Tesner if you could ever get to him. 4 laps remain here in the streets of Chicago in the DeWalt Tools 100 for the Madness Racing League Total Non-Stop Action Truck Series. Carter Jackson, the race leader here in the streets of Chicago. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, to hit that like button, smack that follow button so you don't go nowhere. But we're going back-to-back tonight on the Booty Scoot Racing channel right after this. The Madness Racing League Xfinity Series takes on their final playoff cutoff race to see who will race 2 weeks from now at the Michigan International Raceway for the championship. Carter Jackson looking to win the race here tonight to lock himself into the playoffs for the Truck Series so he can have a shot to race for a championship here in the coming weeks on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. Meanwhile, that's Terry Hughes Jr., driver the number 81, the United States Navy veteran. I want to give a huge shout out to the Red Bull Ford machine of him from Troy, Alabama, the 25-year-old. Seen him get loose, take that thing around earlier in tonight's event, but he's shaking back and is drumming back up to the 7th place spot 2 laps down here. Terry Hughes Jr. trying to snap the streak of bad luck that he's had in the Madness Racing League, doing just that here with a great solid run tonight. Meanwhile, the number 02 of Nicholas Maynard still trying to close that lap up to Corey Tesner, but he'll have Nick Crawford all over the tail end of him right here. These 2 Nick guys, Nick Maynard and Nick Crawford, cannot seem to get away from one another here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. They continue to drive around into turns 8, 9, and 10 around the fountain here. They'll make the right-hander on the turn 11 down East Jackson Drive. And when they'll do so, they'll be on lap with 3 laps remaining as well, along with the race leader of Carter Jackson, who continues to just pull away around the fountain here with 3 laps remaining. Carter Jackson putting on a show here as he'll make the right-hander on the turn 11 on the East Jackson Drive. He'll head over the hill into turn 12, make the right-hander off East Jackson across the front stretch, and he'll come to 2 laps remaining this time around. Carter Jackson has put on an absolute show. 2 laps remain here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. White flag next time around for the race leader of Carter Jackson. He'll bang the gears down. He'll make the left-hand turn in turn 1. Carter Jackson will head down to turn 2 and make the right-hander on the Lakeshore Drive. Rip the gears down Lakeshore Drive. Just trying to keep it together here for 2 more laps on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. Meanwhile, Terry Hughes Jr. still battling door-to-door with Bobby Kyle here. But an absolute beautiful event all night long. Showtime Chase Johnson still trying to run down Kevin Tanko's. If you could ever get it, there's Kevin Tanko's, and there's Showtime Chase Johnson. Corey Riptide Tesner, his teammate, will move out of the way there. So Kevin Tanko's currently sitting in that 40 points paying spot now. But Showtime Chase Johnson's hungry, closing up the gap. Charging hard for the 3rd place spot. He'll smoke it into the corner. Meanwhile, Nicholas Maynard trying to run down Corey Riptide Tesner for the 4th place spot that pays 20 points. Can Corey Tesner run away from Nicholas Maynard, who's coming around the same corner as these guys just came around? Showtime Chase Johnson trying to run down Kevin Tanko's for the 2nd place spot. Carter Jackson trying to bring it home here in the streets of Chicago for his number 2 Miller Genuine Giraffe Mobil 1 Chevy Silverado. Guys, it's been bad fast. It's brought him an awesome piece here in the streets of Chicago here. He'll take it down off East Jackson Drive, head down the front stretch. It'll be the white flag in the air this time around for Carter Jackson. All he's got to do is bring it home one more time. White flag presented by AFLglobal.com. Carter Jackson been brutally badass, bad fast all day long, you name it. The Miller Lite Genuine Draft Mobil 1 Chevy Silverado will bang gears down into turn 2, and he'll rip ass down Lakeshore Drive, excuse me, for the final time tonight. Meanwhile, we'll move back here to Kevin Tanko's. He'll smoke it through the corner here. Showtime Chase Johnson closing up the gap for that 2nd place spot. Corey Tesner trying to run away from Nicholas Maynard for that 4th place spot. But meanwhile, Showtime Chase Johnson closing the gap up over Kevin Tanko's. Carter Jackson about a minute ahead of the rest of the pack here. Trying to bring it down into turn 6 off Columbus Drive. He'll bang the left-hander, and he'll find his way towards turn 7. Meanwhile, Kevin Tanko, Showtime Chase Johnson, the battle heating up here. Showtime Chase Johnson trying to make a pass. Carter Jackson will bang the right-hander and head towards turn 8, 9, 10 around the fountain here. Kevin Tanko's Chase Johnson putting on a show here. Chase Johnson there at the back door. Loose off the corner. They're coming to the white flag around for them. Can Kevin Tanko's get the showtime? Chase Johnson will call home the race leader so far, Carter Jackson, who's been bad fast all night long. The number 2 Genuine Draft Mobile 1 machine will roll over the hill for the final time tonight. He'll downshift, make the right-hander for the final time off East Jackson Drive off turn 12. Carter Jackson will come across the finish line and he'll win Madness Racing League street course race, the DeWalt Tools 100 in Chicago. That's the race winner. Carter Jackson put on an absolute show tonight. Meanwhile, we'll shoot back here. The battle for the second place spot is still on between these two folks of Kevin Tanko's and Showtime Chase Johnson. We'll keep it right here. We'll see who'll get these final 40 points paying spots here. Every point matters here in the Madness Racing League. Will it be Showtime Chase Johnson? Will it be Kevin Tanko's battling it out here on the white flag? These guys not sparing each other an inch. Kevin Tanko's blocking every bit of the street here in Chicago. Chase Johnson a little loose down in the corner. Oh, Kevin Tanko's smashed to the wall. Chase Johnson will get around him. Chase Johnson, Kevin Tanko's battle through turns 8, 9, and 10 around the fountain here for the final time tonight. Battling hard for the second place spot. Carter Jackson's already won the night's event. Kevin Tanko sitting in that 30 points paying spot, trying to get back to the 40 points paying spot if he can get it for the final time, the final corner. Chase Johnson looks like he's going to be able to sneak away from Kevin Tanko for the second place spot here. But meanwhile, all glory goes to Carter Jackson, excuse me, as he'll burn it down here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel for you fans here. We're right or wrong all around the racetrack. Your race winner in the Madness Racing League Total Nonstop Action Truck Series race number 4, the DeWalt Tools 100, live right here in the streets of Chicago, Illinois. Belongs to that guy right there, driver, the number 2 Miller Lite Genuine Draft Mobile 1 Chevy Silverado from Getaga. That's Carter Jackson. Ladies and gentlemen, the race winner, Carter Jackson, brings it across the front stretch here for you fans. He'll burn it down on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. Carter Jackson has just won his way into the Total Nonstop Action Truck Series playoffs in his first ever Madness Racing League racing event. He'll burn it down on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. The race winner, Carter Jackson. Ladies and gentlemen, Carter Jackson burning it down here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. We'll throw up tonight's final race results event. And I believe some of these guys, if I heard right, we're going to go give you guys a show and burn it down here on the streets of Chicago. Carter Jackson will bring home the victory here. Showtime Chase Johnson will get the second place spot. Kevin Tanko's will get the third place spot. You see him right there coming around. Corey Riptide Tesner will get the 4th place spot. Nicholas Maynard will get the 5th place spot. Travis Wall will get the 6th place spot in his Radius Racing Machine. Two laps down will finish, but right there to the top 5, getting better and better every single week. Nicholas Maynard will bring, Terry Hughes Jr., in his Bounty Hunter Racing Machine. Number 81 will bring it home here. Nick Crawford will bring it home in the 8th place spot. Bobby Kyle will get the 9th place spot. James Fountain will get the 10th place spot. Blake Hochschild will get the 11th place spot. Flip-flop that, Jonathan Smith will get the 12th place spot. And Chris Knighty will get the 13th place spot here tonight and ride shotgun on the field. Meanwhile, these guys are going to burn it down right here in the streets of Chicago for you folks. Showtime Chase Johnson, Kevin Tanko's, Nicholas Maynard, Terry Hughes Jr., these folks playing around on the Madness Racing League. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Madness Racing League Total Nonstop Action Truck Series live in the streets of Chicago. Make sure you slap that like button, press that follow button so you don't miss a thing. These guys continue to be burnouts here in the streets of Chicago. Carter Jackson wins tonight's event, marking himself in the DeWalt Tools 100, the victory in the Chicago street course. Make sure you join us right after this. We go back to back here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. the Xfinity Series cutoff race at Phoenix International Raceway. Make sure you don't go nowhere so you don't miss the thing. Thank you for joining us here on the Booty Scoop Racing Channel.